Right, welcome. My name is Rida Chebet Karing. The nominee for Transport and Public Works, Kipchumba Murkomen, has pleaded to boost the technological infrastructure along the border points to ease the congestion of trucks along the northern corridor. The border town situated in Teso North District along the northern corridor serves as an entry point of goods to Uganda and as far as the Democratic Republic of Congo and Southern Sudan. This puts Malaba town on the map of Eastern Africa as a very important terminal, as Sharon Kipchumba reports.
Now, can you tell this committee?
Transport Cabinet Secretary nominee Kipchumba Murkomen detailed 5 key areas he will focus on should he be approved by the National Assembly Vetting Committee. Speaking on Wednesday when he appeared before the National Assembly Committee on Appointments, Murkomen said his focus will be to ensure that there is equity in the distribution of roads in Kenya. If approved, he will ensure roads reach even the rural areas.
People are using good roads. Okay, those of us who are in Nairobi here are using Southern Bypass, Eastern Bypass, Northern Bypass, Expressway, and all these other places. Mr. Speaker, the person in Lokichar or somebody in Hola, Mr. Speaker, most of them have not even seen good roads. Some saw the roads just the other day, and they're all highways. What will tolling do? If we raise enough revenue to maintain this infrastructure, the big infrastructures that we are going to develop, we can then save the other money from road maintenance levy and other sources of revenue to go and construct roads in other parts of the country. My take, Mr. Speaker, if I'm approved by this House, my focus is to ensure that there is equity in distribution of roads in the Republic of Kenya. Mr. Speaker, as I grew up as a young man, I used to go 100 kilometers to find a tarmac from Embobu to Iten. And Mr. Speaker, for those who lived around Iten, they know there is a place in Iten called Mwishowalami. It is my responsibility to ensure that we eliminate Mwishowalamis across the country so that Kenyans progressively know that roads that are connecting county to county will be tarmacked. Roads will be also distributed equitably to areas. No child at this point in time, Mr. Speaker, should travel to another constituency to see a tarmac road. Mr. Speaker, it is true, without any fear of contradiction, that especially in marginalized areas in this county, only roads are constructed in paper. People are issued with tenders, Mr. Speaker. They go and sit in air-conditioned hotels. They fill the papers. And because the place is a security area, is a serious security area, no auditor is allowed to access. Unintentionally, Mr. Speaker. In fact, people have vigilantes in those areas to ensure that no auditor can go and determine whether there is a road or not. So year after year, we are putting money to roads. And I'm telling honorable members, we must not benefit from the suffering of our people. What I am going to do is to ensure that no part of this country I will not visit.
While addressing the pending bills all to contractors, Murkomen promised to clear the issue of pending bills by using the road maintenance levy to guarantee a one-off infrastructure bond.
Some of the reasons why the contractors are slow is because they have not been paid. Some of the other reasons is because they are shoddy connected cowboy contractors. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, there will be no connection with the minister with contractors. The connection of the minister is with the people of Kenya and Parliament and the appointing authority. And we'll make sure that if you are a shoddy and cowboy contractor getting money and reaping where you do not sow, we will delist you. We will put that list online. We'll make it accessible to all contractors to ensure that you don't get any work in the Republic of Kenya.
There are some allegations that the former regime, where the deputy president was the leader of Kenya Kwanza, secretary signed a deal under the guise of economic cooperation with the United Arab Emirates, which will see privately owned Dubai Port World, PZD, take over the operations of Mombasa, Lamu and Kisumu ports. Can you shed light on this? Because the people of Mombasa depend on the ports.
It is important to note that the declaration made by the president was on freedom of choice, freedom of commerce. You choose whether you want to go by road or you go by rail, and you don't force any of the customers to use rail or road. But it doesn't mean that the ICD in Naivasha has been closed. No. The Port of Mombasa, the Kenya Ports Authority is working on a mechanism of attracting the investors, particularly the government of Uganda and South Sudan, so that they can use the port in Naivasha.
Murkomen also pledged to boost the technological infrastructure along the border points to ease the congestion of trucks along the northern corridor. He pointed out that the congestion along the Malaba border has been occasioned by poor technological network being used by the Kenya Revenue Authority to clear trucks.
Shirley, Deputy Speaker, has asked a very important question about congestion of the Northern Corridor Road. And Mr. Speaker, particularly at the Malaba border, where we have a problem of congestion insofar as clearance is concerned. The problem in Malaba border is twofold, Mr. Speaker. One is the technology used by KRA to be able to clear truckers. Sometimes they have been facing challenges, and as a result of that technology being used, Mr. Speaker, sometimes even the challenge is about internet availability. And Mr. Speaker, we will work with the relevant Ministry of Finance and the Kenya Revenue Authority to ensure that they are able to put in place modern technology that can expedite the process of clearing of goods.
He told the committee that he will initiate plans to put in place a parking so as to ease the congestion as trucks have been parking alongside the road as they wait for clearance.
The other issue is because of the parking. The parking area along that border is, Mr. Speaker, congested. We are inviting the county government of Busia to, Mr. Speaker, invest in providing or through PPP or direct even as a county to raise revenue for the county, just the way Nairobi County has parking for vehicles, they can create a good parking for the lorries so that it can raise more revenue for the county and supplement.
Earlier during the grilling, Murkomen declared his net worth at 550 million shillings. He stated that his wealth was distributed in 3 parcels of land in Trans Nzoia County, one in Narok and other one in Kajiado County.
Mr. Speaker, I am worth an estimated figure of 550 million Kenya shillings.
Made up of?
Made up of majorly, Mr. Speaker, properties in my house in Nairobi, another one in Eldoret, and land in Trans Nzoia, 3 parcels of land in Trans Nzoia, a parcel of land in Narok, and a parcel of land in Kajiado, and another parcel in Nairobi, apart from where I live. Cumulatively, I estimate, of course, with a bit of, Mr. Speaker, some machinery, vehicles, and also I own a wheelbarrow, Mr. Speaker.
And a motorbike.
Unfortunately, I don't own a motorbike. Maybe because of the sector now, I should own one. Yes. But cumulatively, that comes to about 550 million shillings.
Elsewhere, Environment and Forestry CS nominee Rosalinda Soipan-Tuya has clarified on the trajectory government will take to manage the controversial Shamba system that was brought to fore by Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua.
The second question raised by the Honorable Robert Mbui is concerning the remarks made by His Excellency the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua concerning matters the Shamba system. I know the Honorable Deputy President addressed himself to the issue and made some clarification on what exactly he meant. And without dwelling on that, I would like to say that under our Forest Management Act of 2016, we have a process of engagement between the Kenya Forest Service and forest adjacent communities. And this is a process called the Pleage scheme, which is plantation, establishment, and livelihood support, Pleage. And what this scheme is about collaboration between the Kenya Forest Service and communities adjacent to the forest in participatory forest management agreements.
Tuya also pledged to reinforce the progress made by his predecessors in the protection of the endangered Mau forest.
And I have looked at the pending budget for completion of the fencing of the Mau. The President is also very clear that it is a question of immediate action that we are going to take to complete the fencing of the Mau. That will settle the question on anybody encroaching. And it is not just Mau. The Mount Kenya forest, Aberdares, and the many forests across our country. It is not a question of whether or not we need to conserve our environment and our forests, and I'm very clear in my mind about that.
Maisha Prime, Maisha Television, I'm Sharon Chepchumba.